look at the welterweight, man. All right, we were just talking about this earlier. The welterweight, Suleiman is going to mandate Errol Spence and Keith Thurman. And real quick for HB, my thoughts. I think I'm with you. Like I respect Errol Spence's choice to not take the fight. Like when he said, "I'm gonna throw it out the window. I don't want to give him that satisfaction." I agree with that, but it's still not a bad fight at this point. It still really ain't a bad fight because he can kill two birds with one stone. He made him wait, but now since Keith made him wait, he could go in there and dominate, give him the beating of his life if he wants to. You know what I mean? Like if
Mhm.
Keith really got on his nerves, he can translate that energy, go in there and fight him. That's one reason I want to see it, P. I just wanted to say that before I asked you. But I think that's a good way for him to take it out on him now. Even take some of the Crawford frustration out on Keith Thurman. You know what I mean? Because Keith is still a good name, P. He's still a good name, man. Like what you think?
Like I said a little earlier, man, I definitely think it's still an intriguing fight.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fight that we definitely wanted to see a few years ago, and the tables were turned, and Keith Thurman, he wouldn't really give Earl the time of day. But like you said, I respect Earl. You know, saying, "Look, man, when it's my turn, I'm gonna do you the same way you did me." But he made him pay. He made Keith Thurman pay. Keith Thurman is groveling right now, and it's not like you know what I'm saying. It's not
Oh,
like
big time. He is big time.
yeah. So it's like yeah, Earl, you made your point. You know what I'm saying, and we understand that they made you do it. You know what I'm saying. It's not something you. If it was up to you, you wouldn't have done it. But you know, go ahead and do it because it's still a fight that the fans want to see, and most fans believe that you would run through Keith Thurman or definitely win the fight. So, like you said, I just see it kind of being a win-win, especially for the situation he kind of backed into now, man.
Mm-hmm.
Is Keith Thurman or Stanosis, right?
Yeah, Stan
Is that
Yost.
how you say his name?
Yeah, Stan Yosef.
So yeah, Stanosis. Nobody really knows Stanosis. You know what I'm saying? You'll be, so that fight is not really that viable. Keith Thurman is a name. We know you don't want to fight him, but since that fight fell apart, it's like, you kind of in a situation. And now they talking
Mm-hmm.
about it's mandated, so you could be stripped. So it's just it got real complicated, and it got real complicated in that aspect. So I, I, I believe the fans would want to see that. If I was Earl, I would go ahead and just scratch the Thurman name off the list and keep it moving. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree. Because let's be honest. It's not a matter of ducking or being scared here, but think about it. Keith or Boots. Right now, Jerron Boots Ennis is kind of looking dangerous to me, even for Errol at this point. So I'm thinking like you don't want to mess up the potential big fight between Terrence. So you don't want to throw that much of a big roadblock in front of you. So to me, the one mandatory I think would be good would be the Keith fight. It's I won't say
Yeah,
safe, but you got to remember Keith is not the same. He has a still a threat level to him, but when it's all said and done, if Errol does beat Keith Thurman, he could still say, "Oh well, Crawford, I just beat Keith Thurman while you beat Avanesian." You know what I mean? He can still kind of throw that in his
but
face. I mean,
yeah, it'll be another. He can still run with his doing the heavy lifting
right?
claim. So, um, but I want to hop on Boots real quick, and
Yeah.
that fight. I do like Boots, but when people say they want to see him in there, with some of the older guys, those fights can be very interesting. You know what I mean? Because these guys are very wise compared to a guy like Boots Ennis, regardless of
Hmm.
coming from Philly and his father being his trainer. Some things only come with years of experience or whatever. But
Oh,
you
true,
know,
true.
um, you know what I mean. But
Oh yeah.
I like the kid, but I couldn't I wouldn't bet the house on him yet.
Yeah. Oh
Definitely
yeah.
with
Yeah.
like the top
Hmm.
guys. at 147. He give them maybe a run for their money, but it's more to it than just his youth and athleticism that we've been seeing in the ring. Give him some time. Because we gotta look at it like this. When I see him, I be thinking about Adrian Broner, not personality wise, but skill set wise. Adrian Broner was looking good just like that.
That's
You know
true.
what I'm saying? And being compared to Floyd and all this stuff, and what happened later on. Not that he didn't have the skills necessarily, he didn't have the mental. And
Mm-hmm.
mentally, just broke down. So I'm just saying, I'm not saying Boots is that by no means. I like the kid. I like what he's doing, but I a lot of people like what he's doing, and he'll beat this guy, he'll beat that guy, and you just never know. You just never know, But one thing we do know, and is that the young guy is always green, and the older guy is mostly more times out of more times out of not is wiser.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with you.
And
Mm-hmm.
that's in life, in boxing, and anything we do. So it's hard to rule that out, and it's hard to rule out wisdom, man, because we seen just crazy stuff happen in the ring. The older guy just he just knew more stuff. You know what I mean? He just knew more
Yeah. Oh
stuff.
yeah.
He wasn't necessarily the better fighter. He just knew more stuff and wound up winning the fight.
Having more
Pretty
tools.
much. With that being said,
Yeah.
with going back to Errol Spence, his choices kind of being narrowed down to Jerron Boots Ennis or Keith Thurman, and most people would say, "Yo, stay away from Boots Ennis." And I get it, I understand, but it's like Errol Spence, the Boots Ennis fight might be more physically taxing on Errol Spence because he is the younger guy. He moving around, he doing all this stuff. But I think the Keith Thurman fight is more the chess match, and so I don't know which fight will be harder. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Right. Right. Yeah, because I think at this point it would be nice for Errol to kind of take a more of a chess match, to kind of take the, like you said, the more physical. You want to leave the physical challenge alone leading up to the Terrence Crawford fight, because I think all that movement. Yeah, Errol trains hard. He always, he's always preparing, but that could take some wear and tear too, because he's been in some grueling
Yeah,
fights, Porter and
yeah,
Ugas. So,
absolutely, absolutely,
somebody like
absolutely.
Thurman, he's gonna be taking his time, so that'll kind of give him breathing room to pick his punches and not even worry about being, uh, you know, mauling and all of that type of stuff. But
When I think about Boots, I just think of like a raging bull and Earl being the matador. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
I
yeah,
just get that visual, and you know what I'm saying? Him constantly charging in, and you gotta, counter it. But the Keith Thurman thing, they both gonna be sitting back calculating, in their heads.
hmm
They got their hard drives going, and you know, because both of them are wise. They know the dangers that any little miscalculation can make. Where Boots, he naive to that. He think he young, he bulletproof. That he don't need. You know what I'm saying? You still got that youth in you, that that indestructibility, that feeling of that anyway. But these guys older. They know they got a couple aches and pains, and they know. You know what I'm saying?
hmm
So I just say in that
yeah,
aspect, it'll be a more of a chess match, and probably will be more of an intriguing fight. Yeah, Boots might be exciting, but should be more intriguing. You know what I'm saying? Because these guys gonna be thinking and fighting. You know what I mean? Not just fighting.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I think so too, man. It's gonna test some IQs out. See how Arrow IQ and Thurman's is at this point, man. Boots though, going back to what you were saying, like he might need to fight somebody like Ugas or something, to see where he really stands, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Before you start talking about he gonna beat the top guys, and I mean, I heard a lot of people. That's a narrative out there. The top guys are ducking him, and I I I I, I don't know. I don't
Mm,
know, but yeah, like you say, somebody like a Ugas, that would be a good test because somebody like a Ugas could expose some stuff. You know what I
hmm.
mean? Because Ugas is older and wiser. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Ugas probably at that point where he like, I took some beatings too, man. I'm gonna try to box some more. So you never know what could happen, man.
I agree.
All right.
That's a good fight, though, Ant.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
like that. Yeah, Boots
Boots and Ugas.
and
Yeah,
Ugas. Yeah,
yeah.
shit.
Um, what did you think? Let me ask you this sidebar real quick. What did you think about Boots saying like they couldn't really stay active this year? They only fought one time. Like, do you think that's because they were trying to look for big fights, or they should have been trying to just fight whoever?
Yeah,
I think that's a good excuse to say,
yeah,
"Oh, nobody wanted to fight him."
yeah. I think it was more them looking for big names. Cause I mean, Ant, let's be real, man. It's like some people fighting. It's not like nobody's fighting. You know, we got
Hmm.
other combat sport, other combat sport promotions putting on fights every weekend. You know, we got other boxing promotions. Fights are happening. You know, I don't. That's why it's hard for us to really understand why we can't get the fights that we want. You know what I mean? I really don't have the answer for that because things are moving. It's not like we in the pandemic we shut down.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah, I just
Boots.
kind of thought that was weird. I was like,
Yeah, I
they
mean,
did only
like
fight
they
once.
say, I mean, Virgil Ortiz is always there for Boots. People can say that he ducking him. That's a fight that make a lot more sense than him talking about he could beat some of the top guys in the welterweight division, to be honest, and you know what I mean. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. I like the brother, but we still just got to see how it play out. We seen all that stuff before. Seen all that before, and you know what I mean. Only thing in
Right.
boxing that proves anything is time. We seen
Hmm.
all that stuff before, so
All
that's
right.
just my take on it, bro.
Oh yeah, yeah. I get you, man. I get you, man. Like even that Ortiz fight, Virgil Ortiz, that would be a good match for him.
Yeah,
Definitely.
absolutely.